As we gather, we are reminded that the town of Bonnyville is situated on Treaty 6 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and is the traditional homeland and home to First Nation and Métis people today. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nation, Métis, and all First People of Canada whose presence continues to enrich our community. We do have an agenda, an amended agenda before us. I don't know if counselors online, if you have a copy of the amended agenda?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so we'll look, are there any other additions?
None at this time, Madam Mayor.
We'll look for a motion to approve the amended agenda, please. Counselor Johnson?
I'll make the motion to amend the, to accept the amended agenda.
Thanks. All in favor? Carried. Okay, then we've got the council meeting minutes from October 28th, 2025. Were there any changes to those minutes? Seeing none, motion to approve them, please. Councillor Kushner.
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. Next, the organizational council meeting minutes from October 28th, 2025. Were there any changes to those minutes? Seeing none, we'll look for a motion. Councillor Langridge?
I'll give you that motion, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, we have a delegation today. CPO Wanda Tom for Under Protective Services. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Yeah, we'll make sure you have the mic on and we'll give you the floor to do your presentation and then we'll do some questions and comments after.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this one runs from November 2024 to November 2025, and I created the report on October 27th, so the date's not quite into the 1st of November, but I just broke down Town of Bonnyville Protective Services Department. Obviously, you all know us, but there's myself, Officer Kara, Dan Haney, and Dustin Appleby, who assists with our administration and taking our complaints. I broke down our complaint statistics for 2025, our highest being traffic by, I better make sure I have that right, traffic bylaw at 85, and then animal control bylaw at 71. It says files which do not have a code in the system. All that means is that our current reporting system doesn't have necessarily headings for certain things like neighbor disputes and stuff like that. So we're going to work on getting that. So we had 65 of those. Unsightly property bylaws at 30, garbage bylaws at 25, and so on. Our lowest one was heavy vehicle and residential area. We don't get that very often. Found property, business licensing bylaw, and that. Of course, I was off for a bit, so these stats go till May and then pick up again kind of in September when I was able to make the files. Stuff happened, it just didn't get added to the system for counting. We also do a lot of social media and media information on school zones and school buses. And here I did notice I made a boo-boo. So passing school bus with red lights flashing was actually supposed to be $567, and all that means is that it was without the stop sign out, which I don't think happens that often. I think mostly when the school buses stop, the red lights are flashing, the stop sign is activated, but apparently there is a fine for if the red lights are just flashing. So they're all basically 567 with 6 demerits. As well as failure to yield to pedestrian at crosswalk is a concern, 810 plus 4 demerits. And we can issue registered owner tickets, which means if you're reported or caught doing so, because some of the school buses have cameras and they will catch them, a registered owner ticket can be sent. Just, it doesn't have the demerits, but the fine is the same. So tickets and warnings issued, 71. I did run it until the 1st of November, and it was 105, I believe. So not as high as usual, but again, there was some gap in there. during May to September. We also had our third annual Community Peace Officer Coloring Contest. It ran from October 1st to October 31st, ages 3 to 12. We had 3 to 8 and then 8 to 12, I believe, and it was most creative and best coloring. So they attended, and Officer Kara took pictures with them and presented them their prizes. So it was pretty good. They were excited. Again, we do social media posts. Obviously, I've been doing that since I arrived here in 2022. Important topics of bylaw, traffic matters, safety concerns. We continue to educate the public through online Facebook posts, newsletters, reminders via written warnings or communication to homeowners and residents, and through other media outlets. Issues, we have been consistently addressing animal control bylaw, traffic safety, school zone safety, community standards bylaw, and now we're into snow season. So we're doing crosswalks and clearing roads, signage, helping Public Works with their task. Proper reporting procedures. I just put that in here. When 2022, when I arrived, we didn't really have a concrete way of doing reporting. It was kind of, people were getting emails and phone calls, and it was all over the place. So basically what we wanted to do is make sure that anyone that has a complaint, for tracking purposes, as well as if it ever ended up in court, we wanted it to be front counter, filling out a complaint form, doing so online or phone call. Sending emails or just passing it through other people doesn't really work for us, just because it's not conducive to tracking it, as well as, like I said, if it did go to court, we need to have some tracking of who made the complaint. And we need to also know the who, what, when, where, why, and how, which is the same as the RCMP would for their own complaints too. So we did some unsightly property cleanups under the Municipal Government Act with Planning and Development, who does most of the legwork on those big long letters that go out. They can take some time. We do get multiple phone calls while the process is ongoing. We have to allow the property owners to have time to rectify their issues and be fair. But if we do have to go on the property and do the cleanup, we do the 545, then the 542 orders, and then the cleanup proceeds from there. We hire contractors. As well as garbage issues. Unauthorized dumping seemed to be a big thing this year. We had some squatters, debris, garbage around the Iron Horse Trail. We have been working with the RCMP to try to stay on top of these issues the best we can. Because there's limited resources for some of the unhoused, it is difficult to is a difficult issue to navigate, obviously. Public Works staff do their best to clean up when we call them out. And there also are eyes and ears out there as well. And then there have been issues noted throughout the year of similar occurrences. They just pop up from time to time, and we deal with them when we get them. There have been some homeless encampments that we've dealt with. I think Officer Kara was out and dealt with 4 or 5 since he's been here. So, but they've been taken care of. It seems to be a common situation, and obviously there's various reasons why people are in those situations. Also, we were dealing with a restricted dogs, I guess plural, issue. Dogs owned by a resident that were chasing and trying to attack individuals, as well as almost attacked me, gladly not. The 2 dogs also tried to attack me, as I said, and I was dealing with them being at large. Several warnings and tickets were issued, as well as we had to get legal opinion on that. The owner failed to comply both with warnings and tickets off the restriction designation through the town. He never did comply, but however, the dogs were put down. As per the SPCA, they made that determination the last time they were picked up. So they were just not friendly and aggressive, so that's their rule. RCMP assistance with animal control while I was off. They did us a huge favor and picked up 12 dogs for us. It's massive. They were very busy themselves, so we appreciate it. Animal control is always one of our top calls for service during spring, summer, and even fall. Wintertime, not so much. People keep their dogs inside more. So that's a positive, I guess. Also, removal of prohibited structures and cleanup of property. Just a few that I spoke with Dustin and he notified me structure was constructed and a lean-to had to be removed off property. Unauthorized means not permitted. This was removed and addressed accordingly, as well as property cleanup on another one. These fall under land use bylaw and community standards bylaw, and peace officers work hand in hand with planning and development department for these types of matters and community standards issues as well. Fire bylaw in abandoned properties. We did find some issues with abandoned buildings, homelessness in the bushes and tree lines. Obviously, fire is normally called out to those. If there's an active fire, RCMP will also assist. Tickets can be issued under the fire bylaw, and also trespassing fines can be issued. We also are continuing with our orange door knocker tags as part of education before enforcement. An officer will see an issue or issue will be reported and we will go by and issue the orange ticket and just, it states what the contravention is. If it's garbage bylaw, traffic safety bylaw, that's usually put on the vehicle, but community standards bylaw. And these act as education to residents and are not monetary tickets. And they give the resident important information on time to rectify the issue. For patrol units, we have acquired a second peace officer vehicle. Currently, we have one patrol unit on the road, which is the patrol truck, but we are upgrading the camera system in that one, as well as the current one is no longer supported, so that's going to be really good for us. The new peace officer patrol unit is, it has to be Solicitor General of Alberta's peace officer policy states that a vehicle must comply with several factors to be CPO compliant, from markings to equipment. The new CPO vehicle will be sent to White Communications to have it outfitted and prepared for patrol, and we will be doing that hopefully in the new year. We're just waiting on the camera system. And I am just about done my Dalhousie program for police supervisory. I worked through that since 2024, and in January I'll be done that. So that'll be a huge load off my plate, and I won't have to do so much online work, but it was very interesting. I enjoyed it. And just Officer Kara, we all met him, came here in August 2025, came to us from Calgary, took his peace officer training in 2024 in Lac La Biche, studied criminal justice, and has a black belt in karate, which I think is pretty impressive. He is a great addition to our team. And then I just outlined some of our targets for 2026. Now that we have 2 officers, it should be more doable. Continued proactive patrols, continued education, school zone patrols, JFOs with the RCMP and sheriffs, focus on speeding and stunting issues, get involved with the youth in some capacity or other, visit the library and after school events, continued educational posts on social media, work with partners to address encampments, and recertification training for our peace officers. And that is it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for the presentation. I'll open it up to council for any questions or comments. Okay, Councillor Sharoon.
Yes, thank you. Excellent presentation. I've just got one question and a couple of comments. Through to administration, I'll first start off with the question. Thank you, Officer Tom, for explaining the fines, the price for the fines and demerits. But I just wanted to know, what is the difference between failure to stop for a school bus and passing a school bus?
Yeah, that one is a little bit, I even had to look it up myself when I did it because I think you could go with one of the two, I believe. I think all the fines are pretty much the same. You have failing to stop for a school bus, which is 567, and then you have passing a school bus with red lights and stop sign engaged. So I guess at some point, maybe a bus might stop with its red lights flashing and the arm is not out, the stop sign. I'm assuming that's what that means. Most times when I issue the fine, it's for the school bus with red lights and stop sign engaged. So I think it's probably pretty much one and the same. now that I see that the price is the same.
Okay.
And then there's also the passing a school bus with alternating amber lights flashing, which is also the same penalty and demerits as well.
Okay, thank you. And then under the unsightly properties, we have a complaint process and procedure. But as you mentioned earlier, that the public works staff are the eyes and ears in our community. So they drive by these times, how many times a day? So is there a way for them to bring forth some of these unsightly properties, yards that are let go, etc.? Is there any interaction or communication between your department and the Public Works Department? And if not, can we make that, grow that relationship?
Yeah, they do mention it. It's just we like to have it because we're complaint based mostly. Like we will do some proactive for that, but it's nice to have an actual complainant, and I don't like to draw them into it. So if they tell me about it, it ends up being more of like an officer start. It's a file that we start here in the office, but it's nice to actually have a complainant from the community that complains as well. But there are times that I hear about things, and I think going forward, we are going to sit down with Public Works and they'll communicate with us about certain properties that may be an issue and vice versa, just for their safety as well as ours. So I think that that's coming forward here.
Okay, thank you. And just one last quick question here. Under your targets for 2026, is there going to be any splitting of shifts between you and our other CPO, or do you have any plans for doing that?
Yeah, I think initially we're trying to do some evenings and weekends. So once he's trained up and ready to hit the road on his own, I think we're going to sit down and figure out how that's going to look. But there will definitely be some evening until about 8 p.m., I think, and some weekend coverage there.
Okay, again, thank you for all you do for our community and for answering my questions. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Blanchette?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just through to Officer Tom. First of all, congratulations on nearly completing your continuing education. I know that that's a big success when you're older in life, like myself and you, I guess.
Yes.
I had a couple of questions for you. Firstly, on the patrol unit, of course, I sit on the SPCA board, and they did ask if our patrol unit had now been equipped with a microchip reader. Do you know if that's been done?
Yes, I've received a link or two from the SPCA of ones they recommended, and we purchased one, so we do have one now.
Oh, excellent. And then this might be a bit of a more complicated question, but I'm wondering if you can just expand a little bit on when you say that it's difficult to navigate challenges related to limited resources when dealing with the unhoused and vulnerable people in our community. How do you deal with that? Do you have strengthened relationships with other organizations, or do you rely on the RCMP? Like, how do you navigate it?
Well, we do rely on the RCMP for officer safety and for assistance when we're dealing with them. I have dealt with some unhoused people in the past, and FCSS and the Friendship Center and the Women's Shelter in Cold Lake have all assisted in getting that person into somewhere warm. She was sleeping in her vehicle at -40. I don't have a whole lot of resources, nor do the RCMP. We try our best. We try to give them options, but again, we only have so much that we can do. Yeah, I think the RCMP are our best advocate, and obviously FCSS has been really good with working with us too, and the Women's Shelter in Cold Lake. So
that answered my question as I go into the FCSS conference tomorrow and talk about working outside the scope of FCSS. So thank you for that.
and yes, they were definitely.
Excellent. That's all for me, Madam Mayor.
Any other questions, comments, Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Through to Officer Tom. Thank you very much for the presentation. Just a little clarification on the reporting procedures. Mm-hmm. So complaints are made by attending the front counter, filling out a complaint form, or doing so online or by phone. So how do you get a complainant to fill anything out on phone? How does that work?
So I should clarify. So if they talk to us directly and we take down all the information, we document that we spoke to them at a certain time. Like we'll do a report and we say on this day at this time we spoke to so-and-so and this is what the complaint was. It's ideal that they fill out a form, but sometimes they can't. It's just, it's nice to know who's complaining, and a lot of people will be like, well, I don't want to be known, I want to be anonymous, and that's fine. It's just that we also can't write a ticket for that, because if that goes to court, we have no one to call on as the witness or as someone to testify, I guess. So yeah, I guess not necessarily that they have to put it on paper, but they definitely have to call it in and talk to somebody like Dustin or myself or Officer Kara and make that complaint.
Yeah, because I mean, people can talk lots,
Yes.
but you're not going to, in my mind, just, oh yeah, whoever says something, we're going to go do it.
Yeah.
It has to be, written down. It has to be followed. Yeah. Okay. I get it. Okay.
Yes.
That's basically where I was going with that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Counselor Johnson?
Through to Officer Tom. I just want to thank you guys for your educational aspect of what you're doing online, Facebook and that. Even with education with the orange door knockers, giving people an opportunity to rectify a situation and just not writing a ticket. I think that's greatly appreciated by a lot of people when they might not realize they're doing something wrong. So
Yes.
I just wanted to thank you guys for that educational aspect of what you do.
Okay, thank
Thanks.
you.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? No. I just have one question. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
How many times can a complaint be made on an unsightly property? Like, can one resident complain multiple times, or is it one complaint per property type of thing?
No, when I first got here, there was a few properties that we had multiple complaints on, but some of the complaints were from the same person. So we generally, either if we have that file open, we'll just add that the separate complaint to his existing file, or we'll just open a new one. There's no limit, honestly. We can just hope that it gets resolved so it doesn't have to continue.
Of course, yeah, as long as they're okay with
Yeah.
doing the proper protocols.
Mhm.
And then just a quick comment, getting involved with the youth in some capacity, think of the Hive, might be able to do something with that.
Right,
That would be
yes.
a good way to educate the youth and build a relationship there. But
Absolutely, and I think the RCMP were talking, Staff Sergeant Pinsett, he had mentioned that he was very much about the youth and that he would try to get us involved with the RCMP and into the schools too, so that would be good.
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for your time this evening and your
Thank you.
presentation. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay, all right, council, we have an item in Municipal Planning Commission. If I can get a motion to move into MPC, please. Councillor Langridge,
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
all in favor? Carried. All right, well, we'll call the MPC meeting to order. Before us, we do have an agenda. Any additions to the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. None at this time.
Motion to approve the agenda then as presented, please. Councillor Johnson,
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda for MPC.
all in favor? Carried. Okay, we've got the minutes from October 28th, 2025. Were there any additions, changes to those minutes? Seeing none, motion to approve those minutes then please as presented. Councillor Kushner,
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
all in favor? Carried. All right, item 4.A, proposed development permit. Who's on that one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll pass this over to planning.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Town of Bonnyville Planning Development Department received an application for a change of use from vacant to personal services pet grooming. The subject property is within a C1 Central Commercial District as outlined in Land Use Bylaw 1447-16. Personal services are permitted within the C1 district. However, the current definitions does not specifically include pet grooming. I've included the definition for personal services where it includes barbershops, hairdressers, beauty salons. So this application is being considered as similar to personal services with pet grooming treated as a discretionary use. With the understanding that this may not be directly comparable with the land use bylaw. Administration is using it as an example, as it still relates to personal well-being when animal welfare is supported. When animals are happy and well cared for, their owners' well-being is also enhanced. Additionally, previous variances have been approved for pet grooming under some principles and are still contributing to the local economy today. We have sent out 24 adjacent landowner notifications. We had no responses received. The desired outcome would be to allow the pet grooming to be accepted as similar to personal services for the purpose of this application. The response options would be to grant the variance to allow the pet grooming as a personal service definition for this application, or reject the application with reasons relating to land use bylaw 1447-16. It's our recommendation that the Municipal Planning Commission approve the development permit 25-D0096 with the provided conditions.
Thank you. Any questions for administration? Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Through to administration. So does this fit anywhere else other than C1?
We don't have pet grooming as part of our land use bylaw.
Right, so there's no place that they can go anyway, really. So it's something that we've missed into the
Yes.
bylaws. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right. Seeing none, we are looking for a decision. Councillor Johnston?
I'd be willing to make the motion. We already have another pet groomer in the local area, so I have no issue with making the recommendation that the Municipal Planning Commission approve the development permit 25-D0096 with the following 5 conditions.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. And a motion to move out of MPC, please. Councillor Kushner. Make that motion.
I will, thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next, bylaw to establish a local police committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In 2025, the government of Alberta introduced legislation requiring a change in how police committees were governed and structured. Municipalities were required to either join a regional police committee or choose to establish a new formal police committee. Council chose to establish a new local police committee. The key issues, once ministerial order approved was received to establish a local police committee, administration was able to move forward with the development of the new bylaw for establishing legislative compliant police committee. Some of the committee changes included ministerial appointments limited to voting, non-voting members, budgets, and annual reports that must be prepared and forwarded to the minister. All meetings must be public, and the committee members require up-to-date enhanced security screening. Comprehensive policy captured the required changes. Changes will be presented to council at a later date will be subject to ministerial approval prior to coming into effect. Once in effect, the bylaw would repeal bylaw number 1168-00, Community Policing Bylaw, and amending bylaw number 132608, amending Community Police Bylaw. Desired outcome is bylaw number 1598-25, bylaw to establish a local police committee to receive all 3 readings. Just as a clarification as well, this was passed through the policing committee as well. It was also provided a legal opinion as well to make sure that it was all in compliance with the legislation to date. The lawyers, once we had gone through the process, had made sure that the bylaws were in compliance with making sure that all parts of the legislation were covered underneath the current bylaw. The more detailed technical pieces, as the provincial government unveils it through the legislation over time, would be basically either amendments to the bylaw or brought forward through policy. So right now we would be in compliance. We were supposed to be in compliance as of May of 2025, but due to obviously some logistics on that and then some issues with the provincial government not releasing some of their information, we weren't able to finalize this draft bylaw for council till now. So we would request that all 3 readings of this be provided tonight.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there any questions on this bylaw? No, Councillor Sharoon?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a question. with this new legislation, is there anything in there? And I'm going to be using the Subdivision Development and Appeal Board, how we're working regionally on it. Is there any legislation or talk that we could have a regional police committee, or is this still going to be just confined to the town of Bonnyville?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Sharon. So from my understanding is that council previously had passed a motion not to do a regional approach to this. So it would be strictly town of Bonnyville at this time. There would be some possible changes and additions or amendments that could be made at a later date. But as of right now, this would only cover the town of Bonnyville.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. So through to administration. So you're asking to do all three readings today for this bylaw. And then it would become law, but we have people that don't have enhanced security screening in place now. How is that going to affect this bylaw coming into effect when we're not in compliance?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Kushner. So I believe there's only two members and one administrator that don't have security clearance. The rest of the committee does have security clearance completed. So it would be that there would be quorum, so they could move forward. The additional portion to that is that being that it was legislated for to be in place as of May of 25, we would be required to have this in place as soon as possible. Obviously, if council's not in favor of doing all three readings tonight, you could definitely do first reading tonight, and then we could bring it back at a later, give council more time. Yeah, it's a hard question to answer as well, because at this time it was kind of a download from the provincial government saying that we shall have this in place. And there's not a lot of context outside of that. It's just more, we as a municipality have agreed to just do it on our own as our own committee and move forward.
Any other questions? Okay. Council, we're looking for a decision. Are we interested in all three readings this evening? Need some time. Okay. All right. Councillor Langridge?
Just a question through to administration to clarify, or to, I should say, to touch on Councillor Kushner's question. So are there any potential drawbacks to passing all three readings at this point in time?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Langridge. As far as administration is concerned, no, there would be no drawbacks. As far as things go with the legal opinion provided and with the assistance of them helping to draft the bylaw, we feel pretty confident that the bylaw itself is in compliance with the legislation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Kushner?
Thank you. Through to administration. The one drawback I see is we would have no council representation on that committee if we do all three today. It would be strictly lay people on that board making decisions. So just going forward, you know that there will be no council representation on that community policing until we get the enhanced security designation back for us.
So as an option, as CA Winfrey described, maybe doing the first reading and waiting, that could get the ball rolling. Are we okay with that? Council, how do you feel about that? Councillor Sharon?
Madam Mayor, what is the, through to administration, what is the timeline to get this enhanced security? Because a regular takes about 5 days, so I have no idea how long the other one takes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through to Councillor Sharoon. It's a good question. We don't know. It's dependent on when they get to it and when they review the criminal record checks, and it could take up to a month. So I know some of the security clearances over the summer took 3 months, but I have seen that they have gotten them quicker as of late, but I can't answer that question because that's, again, that's a provincial government / federal government / bureaucratic process that I'm not involved in, so.
Madam Mayor, if I suggest we can maybe do 2 readings today and hold off on the third and final until we get the criminal checks back.
My mic on, sorry. Counselor McAvoy, go ahead.
When is the next police committee meeting scheduled?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, sorry, to the Councillor. It'll be Monday, next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, are we interested then calling first reading? For motion for first reading, Counselor Langridge?
Madam Mayor, I will move first reading of bylaw number 1598-25, bylaw to establish a local police committee.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. Do we want second reading or we're gonna?
I'll provide second reading tonight.
Okay, Counselor Johnson's giving us second reading. All in favor? Carried. Okay, how do we move on from that?
Madam Mayor, just, we would have to call for consent to move for the third and final reading, and then if that went through, then it would, you'd do the vote after, or if there is no unanimous consent, then we would move to the next meeting.
If it fails, it would move to the,
No, it would just be tabled to the next meeting, so if there's no unanimous consent to move forward with the third and final reading tonight, the motion on its own.
okay. Okay, we're trusting you. Sure.
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor, that we move into third and final reading.
So sorry, just, we would have to ask for unanimous consent to move to third and final reading first, before moving to third and final reading.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Is that what you're saying, Counselor Schroen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Motion to move unanimous consent for third reading. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Moving on. Okay, so we're good?
Correct.
Yeah, that's a new one. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have the financial reports for October.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is the monthly financial report for October 2025. The financial report consists of the bank reconciliation statement, the operating budget financials, the capital budget financials, and the capital projects that are listed to date. And we are recommending that council accept the October 2025 financial report as presented.
Okay, any questions on the financial reports as presented? No, all right. Just looking for a motion to approve those, please. Counselor Johnson,
I'll make the motion that we accept the financial reports as presented.
all in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have the 2026 operating budget, draft 2.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Draft 2 of the 2026 operating budget is attached for review. Draft 1 was presented at the October 21st council meeting, and at that time, the operating budget projected a deficit of $1,753,662. Draft 2 reflects updated expenditures of $34,245,198 and a projected deficit of $1,840,238. Without any adjustments, this deficit would require a 21.06% tax increase. The following changes have been made from Draft 1 to Draft 2, and they are an increase to salaries to reflect wage grid advancements based on anniversary dates, an increase in telephone expenses to provide email addresses to all staff and a phone allowance to improve internal communications, an increase in insurance premiums to allow for an expected 7% premium increase, and a decrease in the Centennial Center operating grant, and that would be based on the funding formula that is included in the current Centennial Center agreement. Administration is recommending the following options for council's consideration to reduce the deficit and minimize the required tax increase. We were requesting to defer the admin support position to 2027, the development technician position to 2027, and to hire the Economic Development Officer in Q2 of 2026. For utility rate adjustments, we are recommending to increase the water and sewer fixed charge to $20 per month, increase the water and sewer consumption charge to $3 per cubic meter, and increase the garbage collection charge to $15.25 per month. For municipal tax adjustments, we are recommending to increase residential municipal taxes by 2% and to increase the non-residential municipal tax rate to 1.7 times the residential municipal tax rate. For the community organization funding requests, we are recommending that we do not approve the chamber lift program, to change the chamber funding from an operating grant to a project-specific grant, reduce the Friendship Center Gala request to the 2025 amount, reduce the Junior A Pontiac's request to the 2025 amount, fund the Bonnyville Senior Center for property insurance only, which was the same as was done in 2025, to not improve the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts request, and to not approve the Ronald McDonald House Charities Golf Tournament. Any deficit after any of the options included above, we could draw from the operating reserve, which has a remaining balance of $2.8 million at the end of 2024. Utility rate increases reflect the rising costs for salaries, repair and maintenance, purchase of water, and software agreements, and brings us closer to full cost recovery. Tax increases would help offset the costs for protective services such as policing, fire, and 911, transportation, and recreation. We are requesting that Council provide direction to administration on the options presented for the 2026 operating budget, which will be included in the budget open house presentation scheduled for December 2nd.
Okay, thank you. Any questions to administration on draft 2 of the operating budget? Oh, Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Page 90 in FCSS, just for my clarification, on page 5100-200 contracted costs. So there was no money in 2025 for that. And it's grant, admin, contract, and speakers for conferences. Is that because we didn't have that in there at that time?
That's correct. We did not do it in 2025.
Okay, and also about the, I noticed your little note on the carbon tax. Do we know how much that saved us not having that?
Roughly about $100,000. This is about
$100,000.
$98,000, I think, altogether.
Okay, and then one more question about the LGFF, where it went down this year. Am I ahead of that? Yeah, I'm ahead of that. Sorry. That's next one. Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we are looking for a motion then to, right? No. Sorry, I'm reading here. Provide direction to administration options presented. So I think if we're good the way it is, then that's just what's going to be presented. Got it. Okay. All right, we will move on. Capital budget then, 2026, draft 2.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Draft 2 of the proposed 2026 capital budget is attached for review. Administration is currently forecasting a capital deficit of $17,396,197. Provincial grant funding is anticipated at $1,597,340, which represents a decrease of $37,073 from 2025 due to changes in the local government fiscal framework allocation. The following changes have been made since draft 1, and that is the inclusion of a public workshop design. The Highway 28 project, there was some additional costs for concrete and valves, manholes, etc. Water and sewer servicing to the rodeo grounds, increase in Southeast Lift Station costs, the Jesse Lake Area 1 project, and an increase in Centennial Center capital asset funding. Costs for the public workshop design and Jesse Lake Area 1 may be available for the budget open house draft. However, some of these figures may not be finalized until interim or final budget. Administration is recommending the following options for Council's consideration to reduce the deficit for the capital projects in 2026. That would be deferral of the long-term facilities master plan, 52nd Avenue West Industrial Lift Station, 55th Street and 50th Avenue intersections, 54th Street rehab, the Southeast Sanitary Force Main upgrade, storm trunk upgrade, traffic lights at 54th Avenue and 46th Street, sewer installation at the Nelson Lumber Building site, lighting at Jesse Lake Trail, soccer field parking lot, south side rebuild of Jesse Lake, pool design and construction costs, and future library expansion. We are also recommending the cancellation of the North Point subdivision upgrade, 46th Street left-hand turn markings, 50th Avenue functional planning study, and the capital infrastructure rehab. And we are also recommending the allocation of the Highway 28 tree planting over multiple years, which would be 4 years instead of doing it all in the one. Implementing all or some of these recommendations will significantly reduce the projected deficit. Projects carried forward from 2025 will be included in the final budget. These items were funded in 2025, so corresponding revenues will also carry forward. As with the operating budget, we are requesting that Council provide direction to administration on the options presented for the 2026 capital budget, which will be included in the budget open house presentation scheduled for December 2nd.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on the capital budget? Yeah, Councillor Kushner?
Through the administration, now I can ask my LGFF question. So why did it go down? Because we're at the same population as we were in 2025. Why did it go down?
The LGFF now is based on the provincial revenues. So the provincial revenues are expected to go down, which means the LGFF is expected to go down.
So it's expected to go down, but it doesn't mean it's gonna go down.
That is
correct?
what we got for the allocation that's on the website as of right now. It may change after March of 2020.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on the capital budget? No? All right, thank you very much. Okay, next, downtown revitalization study.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So it was completed in the summer of 2025. The key concepts, the final report is a comprehensive review of the engagement with the public and public survey, and engagement with economic major deliverables from the report are recommended color for items such as gateway markings and wayfinding signage and decorative improvements. The most important deliverable is the recommended color palette and the design cues, as they are the foundation of any future palette and design cues as requested. Project estimates. This will allow completion of planning and development of the incentive color. That Council approved the recommended color palette and design cues and direct administration to bring back recommendations on all of the project components, quotations, and for a business.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To approve only the color palette and Economic Development Committee. So perhaps there's a reason why Council perhaps.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to the councillor. At this time, I don't. And we've worked on the project and making sure the landscape schemes that were already in the community, so we weren't reinventing the wheel before this project starts, so that we're not the most of the study does need to move forward with it. For example, like a town square. Cost would be associated to developing a town square. For what are we doing after Highway 28 upgrades here, net signings and the signage that goes along with that, towards for businesses as well, to making sure that. So I think the document itself has done really well in identifying a lot of the key components of what we need to do to move forward. So the hope would be that we could actually get an approval to move forward with the entirety.
Any other questions or comments?
CEO Winfley's comments. Yes, and I would echo the 50th Avenue next year in partnership with the provincial government. Upgrade our down outlines, as it outlines it's very specific, at least at this. The project also came with a rough estimate of cost, which I believe they were estimating on the entirety. First, personally approved the project in its entirety, going forward into next fiscal.
After looking through the document and that, I think our ECDev committee did a really good job over the last year going through this. That of just up to this point.
Okay, are there any other? Okay, Councillor Johnson, go ahead.
What's the best way to present it? And
Your Parents Association.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is a sponsorship request from Teen Level 3 All-Star Team Glamorous Disney World, Florida, from March 4th, Ardmore, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, Fort Kent. Sponsorship levels varying from $500 to in the amount of $1,200. As per our sporting event, attend competitions have a funding amount of $600 per recommending that council approve a donation in the amount of CA All-Star National Championship.
Counselor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Council. Approve a donation in the amount of $600 in Orlando, Florida.
Okay, installation of a commemorative
So the Bonnyville branch of the Royal Canadian Legion, branch number 183, has formally requested support from the town of Bonnyville for the installation of 2 commemorative. The request was submitted by Bob Lorna Elchuk. Respectful of the Legion symbols and design has been approved by the Royal Canadian Legion at the national level and can be viewed on their official website. Each crosswalk would use the red, white, and gray. The maple poppy is not included so that it can continue to be exclusively a symbol of remembrance for those who have fallen. The color selected does not infringe on the veterans. The recommendation.
Okay, thank you. I'll open it up for any questions or comments for administration.
I would like to see this installed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to the councillor. I believe it was just as long as it was before remembrance.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Sorry.
Looking the way it should look. We don't want something installed really early and then by Remembrance Day looking worn out.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to administration, do we know or do we have, part of that question would be, do we have a policy in place for requests of this type? I know we have to these type of requests.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to the councillor. So we do not have a cost estimate at this time because so it'd be kind of hard to speculate at this time. And at this time, we do not have a policy for this type of request. So place at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Through to administration. And I don't see any dollar sign with this. I would have a tough time supporting this, not knowing what the costs. The 100th anniversary, I don't know if it's this, but I do have an issue with not knowing anything moving forward from this point.
We'll definitely try and provide some information down the road here as soon as we can about what the cost would be for the type of paint, staffing time, the cost for the imaging. So we do have access to the Legion's website where they do provide free stencils for.
Thank you. Councillor, anybody else with a question? I saw somebody. Oh, Councillor Blanchette.
Thank you. Thing that we might support depending on the cost of installation and maintenance, et cetera, before you go and do kind of the legwork to determine that.
To get direction on the cost and finding that out, and also if this is the purview of what council would like to see for.
I'm fine with us saying that. Please come back to us with numbers and determining what the cost would be depending on.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Sharoon?
Thank you. Again, I'm in total support of doing something to policy. We had to do that with the flags. Then it doesn't have to continue coming to council, depending upon what kind of is it like in the comments, should meet Alberta Transportation's requirements. Like, we don't know a lot of that information, so we do need to get some more information before we proceed with making a motion on this.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McAvoy?
Again, I'll echo some of these comments. I am fully in support of doing this for the Royal Canadian Legion. We're not going to be able to paint anything until spring. So I think before we make a final decision on this, we do need to develop a policy on this and determine the costs. So that's my position.
Okay, sounds like we've heard from everybody. I don't know if somebody would be interested. Be nice if we can give our administration some direction. I do agree with everybody's comments. I think it'd be nice to have some sort of policy in place on a lot of these type of asks. We might get more in the future. So to make it consistent, what the asks are of us, and maybe what some other municipalities are doing. Is it something we want to do? Is it not something we want to do? And just to keep it consistent. So I think maybe we need a motion in place to give direction in that regard. Would somebody be interested in making that motion? Do you want me to? Well, I think we need to give direction to go back and create a policy and bring it back to us to see what does that policy look like, so that we can have some discussion on it. Is it something that you want me to make it? Okay, I'll make the motion then. I'll just move that we send this back to administration to create a policy on, what this looks like in commemorative and other type of sidewalk paintings. And show us, maybe various ones, depending on what other administrations are doing in support or not support of doing these, if that makes sense. Okay? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Carried. Thank you, good discussion. All right, ratifying a letter of support for the U18 Hockey Provincial Championship.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The town of Bonnyville has received a request on behalf of the Bonnyville U18 house team seeking a letter of support from council. The team intends to submit a bid to host the upcoming U18 Provincial Hockey Championships in Bonnyville. Hosting a provincial tournament would bring athletes, families, and spectators from across Alberta to the community, creating opportunities for local economic impact, community pride, and increased visibility for Bonnyville's recreation facilities and volunteer network. At this time, the Bonnyville U18 house team is not requesting any financial sponsorship or in-kind support from the town. However, should their bid to host provincials be successful, they may return to council with a future request for sponsorship or event support. We are recommending that council ratify the decision to provide a letter of support for the Bonnyville U18 house team's bid to host the U18 Provincial Hockey Championships in Bonnyville.
Right, so we're just looking for a motion to ratify the letter that we've already emailed supported. Councillor Langridge.
I'll give you that motion, Madam Mayor, to ratify the letter.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next, funding request, Ronald McDonald House Charities 2026 Winterland Invitational.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is the funding request from the Ronald McDonald House Charities to sponsor the 2026 Winterland Invitational being held from January 16th to 18th, 2026 at the Centennial Center, Cold Lake Energy Center, A.G. Ross Arena, and Glendon Arena. Oreen Skiba presented this request during the 2026 Budget Deliberation Special Council meeting on September 18th. As the 2026 interim budget has not been approved, it is being presented tonight for council's consideration. The RMHC Winterland Invitational was introduced in 2018 with 24 teams and has since grown to 48 teams. It is anticipated that there will be over mention in our social media advertising. The total budget for this event is $194,800, and the amount of sponsorship requested from the town: referee fees, advertising, player bags, and catering. Administration is recommending that council.
Questions? Okay. So I just have a quick question. If
We'll just stay there and it'll be approved and we'll forward the money to them.
Okay, got it. Looking for a decision.
Land Invitational in the amount of $10,000.
All in favor? Carried.
Representatives from STARS Alberta presented an overview of their organization, new services available, as well as provided the details of the services requested funding from the town in the amount of $2 per capita starting in 2026. Some of the benefits provided by STARS include providing physical response and virtual consultation. Residents can access STARS 24/7 across Western Canada, $13,350. Also consider the request for funding from STARS Alberta, and if approved, direct administration to include this amount in the 2026 operating budget.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. So do I think that STARS $2 per capita for us is anywhere? And maybe we can move that up strategically when we're putting up 2% in taxes, if going to have to take from reserves through this. In favor of my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Echo Councillor, knowing that the flight time for the majority out of our hospital to Bonnyville Health Center.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Sharon?
Totally support air ambulance, and we can, administration can confirm. I don't believe we got any financials along with their presentation. And again, when we get a full presentation from the community, to our mic, correct? Defer to next year and look into it further.
I guess through to administrate from STARS, and so of cost, and so I would need the Bonnyville Regional Fire Authority Board, Emergency Services, and Bonnyville Health Center as much as we can. But so I have a hard time understanding where this fit. I don't live far from the hospital. I see how many times this area. I'm missing a lot of information here before our local hospital. I lacked that information before. That's just my point of view.
Agree. I think it's, money, in favor either of supporting it this year. Maybe it's something next year as we see these ask more. If we see municipalities step up, then maybe there's a case, but I don't know if I'm really in favor of a grant application. Sorry. Did they submit a grant?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Unfortunately this year, but yeah. I don't know. Council, are we interested in putting through a motion? Okay. What do we do? Put a motion through and defeat it?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, so the call to the question would be to
Commissioner?
I'll make the recommendation the council consider the operating budget.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, that motion has been defeated. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is a letter from the United Filipino Canadian Association of Bonnyville, Alberta, requesting a donation for their 2025 fall in the Centennial Center. As the letter did not, the UFC-ABA hosts an annual Filipino Canadian. Here, the UFC-ABA has hosted this session, is recommending that council approve a donation in the amount of $200 party.
Just a quick question through to administration. Where in our 7 grant policies and that $250 is what is indicated in the grant policy?
There is no amount to this community organizations in the past.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Any
Donation in the amount of $250 to the 2025 Filipino Canadian Christmas party.
All right, thanks. All in foundation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Lakeland Lodge and Housing Foundation 1 NIIIB of the Municipal Government Act. This section allows exemption of property use for charitable and meeting the qualifications outlined in the regulations. The Community Organization Property Tax Exemption Regulation, Copter 281/ or benevolent purpose preliminary benefits. Wow, that was a tongue twister. Benefits of the general public in a municipality where the Property Council approved the exemption for all property taxes, excluding local improvement tax for the property owned by Lakeland Lodge and Housing Foundation located at 48-362 of the Municipal Government Act.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
To shut down the back alley lane for a carport area. So this was brought to council at the previous meeting for that land to be.
Councillor Langridge?
If no further questions, Madam Mayor, I would go ahead with staff.
Carried. Okay, next, Northeast Municorp Board appointment change.
Caleb Blanchette is the town of Bonnyville's representative on the Northeast Municorp Board. Administration is requesting council's approval to Caleb Blanchette to be replaced with Councillor David Sharan as the town's appointed member. The recommendation is that council approve the appointment of the Northeast Municorp Board, replacing Councillor Caleb Blanchette effective immediately.
Before we make a motion, when I was appointed to the board, their meetings were held during the day and at the age, so that is why the change is requested.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Councillor Johnson?
Okay, I'll keep them from sweating. I'll make the recommendation that council Chet effective immediately.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next, letter of request Lakeland Region 2026 Alberta Games Society.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll pass this off to our staff member, as strategic planner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Lakeland Region 2026 Alberta Winter Games Society is requesting support from the town of Bonnyville for 4 events to promote the 2026 Winter Games, held February 13th through 16th, 2026 in the Lakeland region. Each event has unique requests as cited in the attached letter. The events include, first, Santa Claus Parade, held on November 29th, 2025 at 5:00 p.m. The Society is participating in the parade and is requesting council participation in the parade as part of their float, and to have the float near the towns to demonstrate commitment to the partnership. The request would be for the Madame Mayor and any other councillor that would wish to join for clarification. The second event is the ATCO Virtual Torch Relay, filming the first week of December, with the date specified December 2nd and a safety debrief on December 1st. The Society is requesting 1 to 2 council representatives from the town to participate in the filming and passing of the opening ceremonies torch, and the request is for Councillor Kushner with his previous experience with the Winter Games, as well as an additional councillor. The third event is the Festival of Trees, held on November 29th through 30th, 2025. The Society is requesting council and/or administrative representation at their booth at the Festival of Trees to demonstrate commitment to the partnership. The request is for anyone who wishes to participate. And the last event is the Volunteer Rally for Bonnyville, held on January 22nd, 2026. The Society is requesting council and/or administrative representation at the Volunteer Rally in preparation for the Games to demonstrate commitment to the partnership. Again, to clarify, anyone who wishes to participate. The recommendation is for council to provide promotional support to the Lakeland Region 2026 Alberta Winter Games Society for the February 14 through 16, 2026 Alberta Winter Games by designating the appropriate members of council or administrative delegation to the Santa Claus Parade, Festival of Trees, ATCO Virtual Torch Relay, and Volunteer Rally.
Okay, thank you. Just wondering how we want to go about each one of these items. How do we want to go about each one of them? Like, some of them are time sensitive. Councillor Langridge?
My recommendation, Madam Mayor, would be to, if we do need a motion, to motion that we provide support and then have administration reach out to council on their availability for each.
Okay.
If that would work for administration and
Yeah.
you guys.
Okay.
So I would make that motion, Madam Mayor, that we provide, that we support the Lakeland Region 2026 Winter Games Society for their upcoming events.
Okay, any questions on the motion? Councillor Langridge or Kushner?
Just the first Santa Claus Parade is requesting councilor participation in the parade as part of their float. They're going to be near our float, so I don't think we need, I mean, that's going to happen generically if we decide to do something like that, right? Am I getting that wrong? Yeah, that's what, okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the motion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. All right, letter of support for ABMA NRAD application.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will pass it over to our strategic planner. I apologize, I'm looking at the wrong one. The Alberta Bilingual Municipalities Association, ABMA, is preparing an application to govern Alberta Northern and Regional Economic Development, the NRAD program. The funding would be used to develop and update strategic and operational plan aimed at strengthening the organization's ability to support its membership municipalities, enhance regional collaboration, and position bilingualism as an economic development asset across the province. To support the application, ABMA has requested a letter of support from member municipalities and partner organizations. These letters will help demonstrate the regional importance of the initiative and the value it provides to communities across Alberta. The ABMA has requested a letter to be submitted by November 27th, which allows to allow inclusion in their final application package on November 28th. Providing the letter of support is intended to recognize the value of ABMA ABMA's efforts and its role in advancing wow, tongue-tied today, economic development and regional cooperation. The request does not include or imply any financial commitment to the town of Bonnyville, nor does it offer a letter of support obligating the town to contribute funding now or in the future. Recommendation that council provide letter to support the Alberta Bilingual Municipalities Association for its application to the Northern and Regional Economic Development NRAD program for the development of a new strategic and operational plan.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right. Yeah. Councillor Johnson?
I was going to request that our CEO reread that for us, but I'll just go ahead and make the motion. So recommend that council approve providing a letter of support to the Alberta Bilingual Municipalities Association for its application of the Northern Regional Economic Development Program.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. I'll just ask if that letter can be signed by the deputy mayor, as I'm the chair of that board.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we could get the deputy mayor to sign that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next, letter of support for the MD of Bonnyville.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will pass this one on to our strategic priorities.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The MD of Bonnyville is applying to the Northern and Regional Economic Development NRAD grant program, having their application develop a business case for an industrial corridor. As part of the application process, letters of support are required by strategic partners who support the opportunity for economic growth. The town provided the MD of Bonnyville a letter of support for their application on October 27th, 2025. Attached are the two letters of request and support. Recommendation that council ratify the issued letter of support to the MD of Bonnyville for their application to the 2025 Northern and Regional Economic Development Grant Program for a business case for an industrial corridor.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No. Okay, just a motion to ratify the letter we've already submitted, please. Councillor Langridge?
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. Next, the NRAD grant program.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Northern and Regional Economic Development NRED program funds initiatives led by the Alberta municipalities, Indigenous communities, and nonprofit organizations that promote regional economic development and diversification. Approved applicants are eligible to receive between $10,000 to $300,000 to support eligible project costs. The NRED program funds initiatives that support economic development and will achieve tangible and impactful results in one or more of the following priority areas. Identified would be the increased investment readiness and regional attractiveness for private investment. Administration has identified the opportunity to capitalize on the grant, having the opportunity to align to an eligible project type being the marketing and investment/regional promotion. This project type includes initiatives aimed at attracting investments, promoting the region, and improving its appeal to private investors through targeted marketing campaigns and strategies. Administration, having attended the National Franchise Trade Show on November 14th through 15th, 2025, recognized the opportunity to develop new marketing materials based on information gleaned from attending the event by speaking with vendors and attendees. The application to the NRED grant would target market sectors to enhance attracting investments, promoting the region, and improving its appeal to private investors through targeted marketing campaigns and strategies for each sector identified. The NRED grant application is due November 28th, 2025, and requires a letter of support from the respective organization for the application, inclusive of secured financial commitments. Also, the application requires letters of support from supporting parties. Administration has contacted key partners for the application. Recommendation that the town of Bonnyville apply to the 2025 Northern and Regional Economic Development Grant Program, Marketing and Investment Regional Promotion Stream for $60,000 total cost, project cost, having $30,000 be awarded to by the program and $30,000 committed by the town, and further that council provide a letter of support identifying the same for the application.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the request? Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. No questions. Just wanting to give some kudos to you guys working out there all that whole weekend right after we came back from Alberta municipalities. Good on you. The report you came back with really fits with everything you're trying to do here. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? All right, we're looking for a decision. Councillor Kushner?
I'll make staff recommendation the town of Bonnyville apply to the 2025 Northern Regional Economic Development Grant Program, marketing and investment / regional promotional stream for $60,000 of the total project cost, having $30,000 to be awarded by the program and $30,000 committed by the town, and further that council provide a letter of support identifying the same for the application.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. All right, next, ratification of letter of support for the Bonnyville Minor Hockey bid to host 2026 U13 Tier 2 provincials. U13 provincials.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On November 13th, Council provided approval via email to issue a letter of support for Bonnyville Minor Hockey's application to host the 2026 U13 Tier 2 provincials. Bonnyville Minor Hockey reached out to the town requesting a letter of support as part of their bid package. The proposed event would bring 8 teams from across Alberta to Bonnyville over the 4-day tournament. The organization emphasized that demonstrating strong community backing is a key requirement of the application process. Administration is recommending that Council ratify the issuance of a letter of support for Bonnyville Minor Hockey's bid to host the 2026 U13 Tier 2 Provincial Championships scheduled for March 19th to 22nd, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No? All right, just a motion to ratify our initial decision. Councillor Johnson.
I will make the motion that we ratify the letter of support for the 2026 U13 Tier 2 Provincial Championships.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next, ratifying another letter of support for FCSS application to Healthy Aging Alberta.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and let me try this one. Bonnyville and District FCSS is applying for funding from Healthy Aging Alberta to establish, there I go already. Establish a transportation program that will serve older adults in our community. The proposed program would utilize the handy bus, offering multiple daily stops in essential locations such as Bonnyville Lodge, medical clinic, grocery stores, post office, and pharmacies. A nominal fee of $5 will be charged per trip, with seniors able to purchase a punch pass at the town office. The funding would be available for a 2-year period ending in March 2028. The letter of support was requested by SCSS to accompany their application. In response, the letter was approved by council via email and provided to FCSS on November 19th, 2025. The recommendation that council ratify the letter of support in favor of Bonnyville and District Family and Community Support Services applying for funding from Healthy Aging Alberta to implement a transportation program dedicated to older adults in the town of Bonnyville.
Okay, thank you. Questions? All right, looking for a motion to ratify our letter. Oh, sorry, Councillor Blanchette?
I just really wanted to get a motion in tonight, to be honest with you. So if there are no questions, I would love to make the staff recommendation that we ratify the letter of support in favor of our FCSS program applying for funding from the Healthy Aging Alberta to implement a transportation program dedicated to older adults in the town of Bonnyville.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next, letter of request, letter of support for Alberta Hub.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On behalf of the town of Bruderheim, the project lead, Alberta Hub is requesting from their membership a letter of support for the project's lead intermunicipal Alberta Community Partnership APC application for the continuation of the Northeast Alberta Site Selection Readiness Project, this portion being the Land and Building Site Selection Project. The project has the proposed outcomes. First, continue the extensive research and framework for the delivering intermunicipal economic development information services regarding commercial and industrial real estate assets on a regional basis. 2, expand supporting information and tools for economic development officers and other investment attraction stakeholders across 35 municipalities to promote commercial and industrial real estate assets to investors. And last, 3rd, work with the Alberta government to leverage the existing powerful site selector tool, continue its integration with 35 Alberta Hub members' websites, and act as a East Alberta Municipal Sounding Board to managers and developers of the tool in its continued development. Of a note, the ACP grant application is due November 28th, 2025. Recommendation is that the town of Bonnyville provide a letter of support to the town of Bruderheim in their intermunicipal Alberta Community Partnership application for their land and buildings site selection project. And of note, the letter of request does not have financial impacts.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this request? No? All right, we are looking for a decision on letter of support. Councillor Kushner.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would recommend that the town of Bonnyville provide a letter of support to the town of Bruderheim in their intermunicipal Alberta Community Partnership application for their land and buildings site selection project.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, our first walk-on item, funding request for the Bonnyville Amateur Football Association.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is the funding request from the Bonnyville Amateur Football Association requesting funds to assist with the cost of attending the Alberta High School Football Provincial Championship being held in Edmonton on November 28th. The Bonnyville Voyageurs football team consists of 35 athletes from grades 10 to 12 who have had an undefeated season and were ranked first place in the province heading into the playoffs. The attached funding request is for $500 and, if approved, will be used to cover the indoor training facility costs related to pre-game conditioning and team meets. As per our sporting event attendance policy, organization requests to attend provincial level competitions have a funding amount of $200 per team per squad, up to a maximum amount of $1,000 per organization. Administration is recommending that council approve an amount of $200 to the Bonnyville Amateur Football Association, Bonnyville Voyageurs football team to attend the Alberta High School Football Provincial Championship in Edmonton on November 28th.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this request? Councillor Blanchette?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to say that this is a pretty impressive success of our amateur football team, and I actually would suggest that perhaps we consider funding their full request of $500. It's not something that happens every day for our little small town football team, and I did want to note that I did hear that our partners over at the MD of Bonnyville did approve a $500 contribution to this, so I would like to match that.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? No, Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to administration, with this policy, it's been a while since I read it in depth. So we have a limit from 200 to 1,000. What would be the levels that administration would recommend anything above 200?
That would be up to council's discretion. The 1,000 would be if it was up to 5 teams going, is how the policy is written. So it would be 200 per team up to a maximum of 1,000. So if you have any more than 5 or 6 teams, that's when they would get the $1,000. Is how the policy is written.
Okay. Thank
5
you.
or 6 teams who are going at the same time?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? I mean, I would just note, I mean, I'm super, I think they did a really great job, but I think we need to be cognizant the very next request is also for a team that's going to provincials. I mean, I'm in favor. I love supporting all our organizations who play at this level and make it to the provincials. That would just be my only thing, what I would put out there. So, I don't know, what are we in favor of? Councillor Blanchette?
Madam Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion, and we'll just see how the vote goes. So I'm going to move that council approve an amount of $500 to the Bonnyville Amateur Football Association, Bonnyville Voyageurs football team to attend the Alberta High School Football Provincial Championship in Edmonton on November 28th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Or questions on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Oh, defeated. All right. Councillor? Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would make a motion that we go with the November 28th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Johnson?
Just a quick comment. I mean, everybody, why I voted the way I did, so.
Thank you. All right, so motion on the floor. Any questions? All in favor? Your request for Ecole de Bolac.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is an email from École de Bolac requesting funds to assist with the cost of their senior girls volleyball. The senior high girls volleyball team consists of athletes from grade 9, 10, and 11 who just won the zone championship. The attached funding request is for $1,000. The team funding would be $200 up to a maximum of $1,000 per organization. We are recommending that council approves an amount of $200.
Questions, comments? No. Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In keeping with our recently approved team to attend the provincial championships in Manning.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Going back to October without the Alberta Municipalities team to prepare for the breakout session I participated in at the convention. October 31st, the staff appreciation. Also on November 3rd, along with Mayor Brasso, met with Jesse Stein and Kendra Krankowski from the PCN. Deputy Minister Evan, provincial funding for the budget workshop, followed school remembrance.
Staff appreciation lunch, our board meeting. Congratulations to our mayor. And
Thank you.
First, I attended the, that's all for me.
That was wonderful to see. BR 21st on how to get people to come to your area. It's amazing, actually. So I took a whole bunch of notes on that, and I'll pass those on. Attended, very good organization. It was a privilege for us to be there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So 7th, I did the Remembrance Day ceremony at BCHS and then attended the Bonnie Lodge 65th anniversary. On November 21st, I attended the Feast of Nations. And then November 24th, C2 meeting in the morning. And then we had the Tribal Chiefs Employment Gala.
9th of October, attended the Cold Lake Air Show luncheon. On the 30th, the council kickoff. The 31st, the Health Foundation staff luncheon over at the hospital. November 3rd, the Empowering Minds breakfast at the Ag Society. On the 11th, the Remembrance Day ceremony over at the C2. On the 19th, I was doing the check run, the RPAP event over at the hospital with the them.
Okay, great. Moving along, we have a couple items under correspondence, a letter regarding Alberta Museum Associations, and then our commission before we go into camera.